I'm talking with the Chief Minister, and while I've got you here, tomorrow there's the big demonstration that's planned for Ramsey, your area, to do with the Post Office. This follows the big public meeting that was held last month, which, 400 people turned up?
Yes.
And now this demo and another meeting to follow. Your views on this?
Well, my public view is very clear. You know, I'm do support the people of Ramsey and what they're trying to achieve, and it is most important we have a viable post office maintained in the town. There was a very vocal and very well argued public meeting only 3 weeks ago, where it was made very clear by the public that they want the post office to continue. We have now agreed to postpone any decision on closure for 3 months. There is a lot of work going on quietly behind the scenes, and my department, the Cabinet Office, is heavily involved in it as well to find a way forward on this. So work is continuing. We have heard what the public have had to say. We've listened to the commissioners. Now we are trying to find a workable solution. What puzzles me is what benefit a public demonstration tomorrow is going to have on all this. Government already knows what the public want. We cannot magic up a solution overnight. We have to give some thought to it. And in both cases, although I obviously support my own constituents, I'm just puzzled what benefit they think they will get out of a public demonstration and yet another public meeting, because it's still work in progress, and it's not going to be possible to explain to the public at that stage what the final shape of things might be.
I suppose it's just to show support. It's going to get, we'll be up there showing it. It'll be all over the media. It's putting pressure still on you, I suppose, at the end of the day.
Well, it's not putting any pressure at all on, because the message is clear. We are working on a solution.
So it's not going to close now, though? Is that what you're saying? I mean,
it's been suspended for 3 months while we look at
I'm just trying to pick out the words you're using carefully here. It's not going to close there, then, do you think? Or
we are looking at an alternative. I can't give you any more information than that. The promise I made to the public in Ramsey, which I've kept, is that first of all we would arrange a deferral of any final decision on closure. That's happened. We are looking with the Post Office, with the Cabinet Office, at alternatives as to how we might be able to deal this and keep the public happy at the same time.
Who's to blame for this mess?
Well, it's not a mess. Everything every change that comes in is always described as a mess. I think it was badly presented to the public to begin with, and I'm on record as saying that. I think the PR was dreadful to begin with. But the Post Office also has an extremely difficult job to do in balancing its budget. And we have to look at providing services long-term, sustainable services for the people of Ramsey and for the island. So they're obliged to look at these things. Now, I hope there will be a way that we can satisfy everybody's interests in this. The Post Office will be able to make its savings, and Ramsey will be able to keep its post office in the way that it wants.
Should I be talking to Mr. Kajin, or should I be talking to Mr. Kelly, who has yet to do an interview with me? I've asked him a few times now. Who came up with this? Who's going to take say, right, I made a mistake, we've got to change it?
I'm not looking for people to blame. What I'm looking for is solutions to the problem.
Who's going to give you the solution?
The solution ultimately will come either from the Cabinet Office or from the Post Office. These are the two leads.
But you're tying them down. They've got to keep giving this £1 million a year to you, yet they want to be told they've got to save all this money. So they've got very little movability, surely.
But there are other options perhaps that we might be able to consider, and one in particular which I'm quite interested in at the moment, which I think will, if we can make it work, will be very beneficial for not just for Ramsey but for the whole of the island.
Will you be there tomorrow at the demo? Will you be walking? Will you be taking note of it?
I will be in Ramsey tomorrow, as I always am on a Saturday morning.
Mr. Singer, or do you not know his movements?
I don't know Mr. Singer's movements.
Are you both playing from the same area on this one, or are you divided on this?
Mr. Singer is a member of the Post Office board.
You're choosing your words very carefully.
Although he has, for some reason, withdrawn his involvement with the Ramsey issue because he believes he has a conflict of interest, which is an interesting comment.
What's the conflict?
I don't know.
He must have told someone there's a conflict.
Well, I understand he has withdrawn on the Ramsey issue because he's got this conflict of interest. He wants the post office to stay where it is, and obviously the board have a different view. My own view is if you want to change any policy, whatever it might be, it's always more effective to try and work from the inside and change policy that way.
Should he step down then from the post office? I mean,
I think he needs to consider that.
Is that your choice? Can you fire him from that position?
I'm not talking about firing at this stage.
Could you,
but,
if you want to?
I think he needs to consider his continued involvement. I think because if he's not prepared to and join with the rest of the board to try and find a solution to this, then I think he's not really serving a great purpose.
It's well known there's no love lost between you two. This has obviously caused even more friction by the sounds of it.
Well, it's not caused friction. I'm just disappointed that someone who wanted to go on the post office board was appointed and is there as much to look after Ramsey's interests as the rest of the island. Suddenly finds he's got a conflict of interest with the proposals which are going forward at the moment. But this is politics.
Sure.
He has the absolute right to carry out the politics he sees right for his political career.
Do you expect him there tomorrow?
We have our monthly political surgery tomorrow morning, by chance.
So he'll be in Ramsey.
We will both be at that surgery, and I'm sure we'll both be in walking down the street as well.
And as far as the next meeting in Ramsey about this, I think he was going to be away anyway. But are you going to it?
No, I won't be there either because
You're
I'm
also committed.
Already committed. Yes.
So there won't be any political frontage there besides Mr. Krajina, I suppose.
I really don't know. I've had nothing to do with it. I've had no official invitation.
Do you think they need another one? Because
no, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I honestly don't think there's anything anyone can tell them at this stage. We won't have a solution completed by the end of this month. We still have a lot of work to do, and it may ultimately not work. So we've actually nothing to tell the public at this stage other than to say there's work in progress. We know the strength of feelings of the people in town. I support the people and what they want. But having a meeting for the sake of a meeting when that message has already been very, very strongly articulated and members have quite clearly picked up that message, including the council ministers, I really fail to see what there would be to talk about other than to say we're working on it still.
How tricky is this in the sense that this is probably the biggest turnout of people for that last meeting, and these are all people technically that would be putting an or have voted for you or whatever, your constituents.
I appreciate it. I mean, being Chief Minister especially is an extremely sensitive situation when it comes to constituency matters. There is a conflict from time to time. I am trying to find a middle way on this, which will satisfy my constituents, and as I say, I support their concerns. But at the same time, I have a responsibility to government and to
But you rubber stamped this. At the point we had this conversation, it passed over your desk. You approved these changes.
It goes through the council. Yes, it goes through the council ministers. Council approved the initial one. The public presentation of it, as I said, left a lot to be desired, and I think that caused a lot of unnecessary early concern. But we are where we are now, and there's no point in going back over recrimination. Okay. We've got to find a solution.
Is it strange that Douglas seems to be there's no big sort of
I
upswelling
have heard not a single comment.
So Douglas can go through, that can be in Spa, and no one's going to be bothered about that.
Talking to Douglas MHKs, very few of them have had any comment at all. I personally, I don't think I've had a single comment from anyone about Douglas. They've just accepted it as a workable solution and are getting on with it.
So this will prove if Ramsey does change, it's people power that, if they hadn't have had this sort of big demonstration and meetings, it would have gone through as well.
Well, it may well have in that case, but it's quite clear that the people are very attached to that building in particular. They're also very attached to the staff that we have. That we have some excellent staff who've been there for many, many years. And there is a great deal of love and affection for the staff there.
There's no question about it. It's a meeting place. From everyone's point of view, it's not so much it's a post office. It's a place where everyone meets up. You've made lovely regeneration efforts. Well, it depends on your views, but most people agree it's a good effort. But
it is.
So in a sense, you cause your own problems there, I suppose.
Well, I think the regeneration work that we've put in that area has worked even better than I'd hoped. It's improved the quality of that area immensely. The whole environment has improved. And of course, that particular building is absolutely central to it. And in fact, when I first started the regeneration work, we actually had a consultation process with the whole of the people of Ramsey, asking them to identify to us where they saw the heart of Ramsey, so that we knew where to start the regeneration work. And by quite a big majority, the police station area, or what was the police station area, was identified as being the heart of Ramsey. So I think that's the emotional attachment that people bring to this argument. But the building will still be there. The building's not going anywhere. Government owns it, and we will make sure that it's put to good use.
Okay, well, we'll be at the demonstration on Saturday, and we'll see what the feeling is there for people to actually walk down the street. And the police ask not them to take up the whole area, but we'll see what turnout there is on the weather, I suppose, more than anything.